Hello Linux lovers, my name's Wimpy, welcome to my world. I'm just doing a bit of technical trials at the moment. Yesterday morning I did a stream and I said I was going to start working on Raspberry Pi stuff, and we went through a massive collection of Raspberry Pi gubbins that I've got now here next to me. And I've sorted it all out. It's all organised on the shelves over here, so I know what I'm going to be doing. But what I wanted to do is make sure that the rest of the setup here is good to go. Good morning, Popey. How you doing? You know, this is very not morning. This is a quick lunchtime break and technical trials. So I want to make sure that first of all, hello, Diddle Dan. How you doing? Danny, rather. Sorry. Oh, that didn't work. So that's the first thing I need to look into. Takov is doing things. Hey, Dust. So, right, what have I done wrong there then? So you redeemed that one and it's connected there. So this is part of what we're doing. Oh my gosh, everyone's coming. Hello. Hey, Adam. And I see Takov and Linux Paul as well. Okay. So, why did that not fire, I wonder? Hello, Brave Sir Jeff. How you doing? So, I think what I'll do is I'll get the main thing out of the way, which is I just want to make sure that the Raspberry Pi stuff's going to work properly. So, over here, I have this, which is going to be my main dev machine. I now have a button that can do this, kind of chat on and off nice and conveniently. So this is going to be my main Raspberry Pi dev machine. It's getting power coming up through the desk over here, and you can see here it plugs into a Magewell USB capture device. And the reason I'm using the Magewell over there is because they accept just about every resolution imaginable. So good for the Raspberry Pi, even when you're pushing it at weird resolutions for retro stuff, which I may get to in a week or so. So that's the setup. I can turn the chat back on. Go me. Right. Aitum for the win, everybody. We'll get to Aitum a bit more in a moment. So the other thing that I want to check is that if I go to this view, it should say no signal. Oh, I haven't got that button mapped. I'll have to do it by hand. How tedious. Right, so no signal. This is correct. And if I push the button on the back of the Pi, it should momentarily power on. Yay. Okay, so there's no SD card in here. This is the extent of what I needed to test here. So this is, in air quotes, working, despite the fact that there's nothing plugged into the Pi. So that means that I can switch between these views, the overhead view and the capture view, and see all of that. And I can turn the chat off if I need to and turn the chat back on if I need to. So that's all good. However, I see the other thing that I'm taking for a test drive here. Hello everyone. Hello. Gosh, there's so many. Oh, that one worked. That's the other thing I was going to test. And so, Yannick, that worked for you, which is terrific. So last night I set up Aitum, which is a new tool. You can go to aitum.tv. Is that the right URL? Dust? Aitum.tv. I'll put it in chat if that's correct. Or Dust, you can put the right URL in. Yes, this is all happening with channel points integrated via Aitum. So I've got a whole random selection in there. They are, generally speaking, kind of placeholders to just add a bit of fun. But I'm going to build those out into more useful things in the future, including things like you'll be familiar with the power mode in the Visual Studio Code with the sparkles. I'm going to make that a channel point where people can turn that on and off, you know, themselves. So stuff like that. But the ones that I've got are just to test that it's all working properly. Hang on, let me put Aitum's. In fact, have I got a browser here? Let's just do this. Let's make that a new window. Make that nice and small. I'll switch to this view and bring this down here. So let me explain what I'm using to do this very quickly. So Aitum.tv, this is the tool I'm using, and it's available for Linux, Windows and Mac OS. And I suppose I can sort of show what it looks like, kind of. If I go to that screen, this is the app that's running here. Oh, look. So we've got a whole bunch of integrations, and this is just to sort of, test that it's all working. So this is Aitum. It's currently integrated with OBS at the studio at home. It's also integrated with my Elgato lights and something else, I forget what. Oh, and Twitch, of course. So there's a whole bunch. Here are the rules, and I can turn these things on and off at will. It's really nice. You can put them in. Uh-oh. Now I can't see what's going on. So as you can see, you lot can have some fun with that. Right then, so you get the idea. A whole bunch of fun things, and yeah, we'll build those out to be a bit more fun over time. So that's Aitum. It came out on Saturday evening, and Dust, who's in chat, is the developer, a lead developer for this project. And if you're familiar with Mr. Greggle's channel, that's where that comes from. And there's the confetti, which is now just for my. That's just for my camera. And you'll notice now that I've got Aitum going, actually full scene. Everyone's doing everything imaginable. Okay. Okay. So let's have a look. Yannick says he has 24k channel points. I wasn't sure how to price these, but hopefully you'll burn through your money pretty quickly. Takov says, is there a free trial edition? No, I don't think there is. It's a subscription model. If you followed some of my morning streams, you'll see Dust has popped in here from time to time, and I've been impatiently asking, when's it coming, and now it's available. And for us Linux streamers, it's pretty much the only game in town with regards to doing sort of full Twitch integration. And I'm interested to see that YouTube integration is on the roadmap as well for them, when I think they've got to wait for some API unlocks on Google's side before that can be a thing. Dust can fill in the details there. So Yannick found the O-balls, yes. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So Dust is pointing out the reason there isn't a free trial is because there's a whole bunch of hosting involved that, they need to pay for. And the objective of the project, my understanding, is that this is intended to be a full-time endeavor. So they want to actually, generate the money to put together a full-time team behind it. But Mr. Greggles is that crazy drummer on Twitch. If you go and check his channel out, he did a stream on Saturday night unveiling this, answered a bunch of questions, and gave a quick demo. So there we go. Ubuntu on Air is tonight, is it? At 9:30 with Yannick. Okay. Very good. And Yannick has also backed this for a year. I'm on the monthly plan, just because that's better for the cash flow situation. I think it's like £3 a month I'm paying for this. Anyway, that's Aitum. And I just wanted to make sure that all that was working, because I'm actually, as you can imagine, I'm doing things I shouldn't be doing with it. so I obviously have 2 locations I stream from. So I was talking to Dust earlier about how I, in air quotes, sync my settings so I can have the same Aitum configuration in 2 places. I am almost. I appreciate that there. So I'm in the Aitum Discord, and Dust has been very helpful. Particularly the fact that I am definitely in edge case territory. So there we go. That's all working. That's good. How is everyone anyway? How are you doing, Popey? Are you impatiently waiting for your car, and are you sat in your new office at the moment? There we go. So because I'm using Aitum now, I can do some more interesting things with it. So when the confetti starts now, it actually falls down the screen rather than just fading in, and then when it finishes in just a few moments, it will trickle off the screen as well. So yeah. Oh, so Popey is in the new office. We're going to have to do like a couple of office swaps, or not swaps, but visit each other, I think, Popey. Yeah, you and I, we've got a streaming thing going. We probably need to find some time to put some real effort into that. So Yannick, I've already started. So the other thing that I've started working on is, I've called it Aitum's Butler, and it's a Python socket server. And the purpose of that is, at the moment, you can call a trigger to Aitum itself and say poke a URL. And what I want to do is automate more of this, because I've got buttons on the Stream Deck. Like when I bring the stream up, I have a button that I push. In fact, specifically this button just here, which I'm not going to touch right now because it'll mess everything up. And that does a whole bunch of bring up in terms of the way that the cameras and the audio are configured, and the music, and rerouting audio into multiple channels and stuff like that. And I just want to bake that into the scenes in OBS. So, I have a scene which is I'm getting ready to stream, and I just want Aitum to just do all of that. But it requires firing off arbitrary commands to, scripts and pulse audio and all sorts of stuff like that. And Aitum doesn't currently have a mechanism of saying run this command. But because it's got this poke URL, I've got a socket server, and you have a bunch of URLs that you can configure and map those to commands that you want it to run. So Aitum will just go and poke the URL, and then the associated command will run. At the moment, it's all hard-coded. But what I want to do is, make a simple config file, which is basically just a URL to command mapping, and then it can pass that, and, anyone could use it as a way to launch arbitrary commands. Right, I'm glad you're up for that, Popey. We'll have to organise that, but also we've got our own little crazy streaming project, and I think Aitum is going to play a role in that as well, by the way. So, Linux Paul, who is looking forward to the return of Games Master? I've never watched it. Right then. And our podcast asks if there are tutorials for configuring Aitum. I think they are coming soon, TM, on the Aitum YouTube channel. Greg talked about that on Saturday night, that he was finishing those videos off as he looks to make sure the door's closed and I'm not irritating the people sat, you can't see, just across from me. So I think somebody at the beginning, I think it was Takov, ran hello and it didn't do anything. But I think somebody else has run hello since. So I'm just going to have a little click around in here and see if I've broken something. So if I go and have a look there, that's fine. And if I go and look in here, that wow works clearly. Okay, so I wonder what was going on with that one. That's all seems to be working fine. Am I planning a deep dive OBS tutorial? I will. I mean, I'm literally hours into Aitum, and like I say, I've just put a few bits and pieces together, and I have got a backlog of like OBS tutorials that I wanted to do for Linux related stuff, and I have recorded and re-recorded several of those and never published them because things keep moving on before I finish them, and they go out of date really quickly. So I do need to like sit down and record some of the basic ones before we get into this, because you can't jump into something like Aitum without having like some of the foundational stuff to support it. But Aitum is shaping up to be exactly what I've been waiting for. It says out of stock. Oh, okay. So yeah, I've put global limits on some of these things. So I wonder, you shouldn't be able to redeem it if it's not available. So let me just move that there. One moment. So yeah, I think there's a maximum limit of each one, and each one also has a maximum limit per user. So I've made it so people can't just sort of spam the thing too much. Might have been a socket dropout. Okay, Dust, that's fair. So that one that's just being redeemed is for my catchphrase. My password is test, by the way. Yeah, well discovered, Yannick. And then there's a cooldown. So if somebody triggers one of those animations, depending on which one it is, there's a cooldown of like a minute or 2 minutes. I will add some sounds to some of these as well. So yeah, there we go. There's a whole bunch there. Okay. So that's good to know, Dust. I shall not dig into that, because clearly all the other stuff is working, which I'm pleased about, because obviously this morning when I was looking at that, I was like, that's that syncing thing. I appear to have broken everything, but I think everything is in fact working now. So yeah, the purpose of Aitum at the moment, how I'm using it, is obviously channel points make a thing run, and then behind the scenes, actually in the OBS setup, there's a whole bunch of automation that you don't see. That's just things that happen when I switch scenes, that, you know, where things need to be poked and prodded, which I used to have to do manually and is now all being automated. So I've been able to drop my scene count by about 10%, whilst adding a bunch of new capabilities to the stream. And some of the things I'm thinking of looking at to automate, this is going to sound abhorrent, but hear me out. There is a school of thought that says when you start streaming on Twitch, you should immediately run a 1-minute advert, because you then buy a window of no users having any adverts. So I could automate all of that with Aitum, in that you can have a bring up the stream, automatically have Aitum run an ad, or maybe even what I'm thinking is I record we're going to run a 1-minute advert now, explain why. We're not doing this to monetize, we're doing this so as people join the stream, they won't see adverts for the next 35 minutes. And then automatically trigger a 1-minute ad, and then transition to this view where I can say, you know, hello and welcome. But using Aitum, I don't have to push any buttons in Twitch. I can just have, you know, a scene that gets jumped to in the startup sequence that automatically triggers that stuff. Oh, you like that idea, do you, Dust? Okay, yeah, absolutely steal that idea. I mean, this was one of those things I thought of, like, now I've got all of this power and capability, what can I do with it to, like, improve things? And yeah, it's not about improving ad revenue, because it's like 27p versus 17p. It's like, it's neither here nor there. But I know people who aren't subscribed to a channel see those ads, and if on looking at my stats, it takes a good 2 or 3 minutes for people to join the stream. So if I immediately run an ad, then most of the people joining the stream at the start shouldn't see any ads for like 35 minutes or something, which that's got to be a good thing, I think. I'm saying nothing to Yannick Dust. I might have sight of some of the APIs, Yannick. I've been poking and prodding around. Yeah. So when you run the ad, of course, Monica, it won't be on your starting screen because the ad will, completely take over the stream. So I'm thinking of like doing some pre-recorded stuff to say, welcome, we're just going to run an advert for the reasons I've described. It then triggers the ad. You get a full screen ad for 60 seconds. And then you can, have Aitum just wait for, say, 62 seconds. So that, at the end of that, you've got another automated catch. Make me a coffee. What's this? Make me a coffee. We could also all subscribe for no ads. Well, there is that. I was completely... no, I had no idea that was one of the perks of subscribing to a channel, but it makes perfect sense, if you... I'm not saying subscribe to my channel. If there are channels that you're interested in that you watch a lot of, then that makes sense why you would subscribe there, not just to support, your favourite streamers, but the fact you don't get the annoying ads. Yeah, okay, well, this all seems to be working very well. If anyone's got any Aitum questions, then drop over to the Aitum Discord. There's a fast growing community of people there. I've posted a few suggestions and feedback based on what I've set up so far. I'm trying to not be super mega annoying. Hey, oh, Dust, thanks very much. That's very kind of you. I feel like that should be going the other way, really. I might have to reciprocate on that. Thanks for all the help this morning. Well, I don't know about that, but thank you very much. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how Aitum develops. And Dust, close your ears for a moment. I am continuing to use Triggerfire, which is a web-based thing that does similar stuff, but I'm using Triggerfire in a very different way. So I'm not doing any channel point redemptions with Triggerfire because that's a total nightmare to actually manage channel points with Triggerfire. But what I learned the other evening is you can only have 50 channel point redemptions on Twitch. So when we do Hotshot Racing and we have all of that multi-camera, multiplayer stuff, and I've started to add switching views to that and dropping confetti, doing that as channel points, I can't do it. There are simply not enough channel point slots to cram all of that in, because if you think there's 8 players, so that's 8 player cameras, 8 racing cameras, you can choose to position any player in any quadrant of the screen, or switch to 2 players only, 3 player only, or even just focus on a single player. There's too many combinations of things to do with channel points. So for the time being, I'm just going to use chat commands. Here it is. Chat commands in Triggerfire that are only accessible to subscribers, moderators, VIPs, and are they called founders? So basically everyone that's important, an important person in the channel can freely type the chat commands to trigger the what was I saying? Dust has just replied, and it's caught my attention to trigger the various things. So those people that are following the channel, and in air quotes, hey old head, thanks for the follow and welcome to the stream. So those people that are invested in the channel can fire that stuff off by hand and be race directors and change the views without using channel points and without using, like, I think I worked out it's going to be 118 commands to actually run all of that stuff together. So we've got ideas around the channel point limit. Okay, but not going to spoil. Okay, well, the other, like I say, the other workaround is if you can do chat command triggers in Aitum and limit that to role, you know, user roles, like I've just mentioned, moderators, VIPs, founders, and what have you, then that's a way to continue to expose lots of commands to people invested in the channel without actually having it to be a channel point. Yeah, so chatbot type stuff. Yeah. So yes, I'm doing trigger fire for that for the time being, since that's pretty easy to do in trigger fire. And Greg and Alex wanted me to let you know the start stream run ad was such a good idea that we're literally starting to record a video on it now. Okay. What, as in like a demonstration of what you could use Aitum to do, or to record a video to integrate that into Greg and Alex's streams? Right. Well, there's so many people wandering around today. Right, well, this was a good cup of tea. I needed this one. Right, well, I think in terms of technical trials, this has been successful. Yeah, because it will be a common thing that people would find use for. It's literally zero effort to make. Great, excellent. Well, I'm glad I was able to pay down my interest in Aitum with at least one good idea. They do pass by my brain from time to time. Right then, Yannick says you need to watch the VOD with sound. I'm sure that is a whole lot more interesting than muted. Well, if Yannick can't hear me, there's no point in saying anything, but no, there are no sounds for those animations at the moment, but there will be in due course. That's obviously like a part 2, but the next thing is to actually do things with the stream configuration itself. You know, I thought it'd be fun, like change VS Code themes on the fly whilst I'm editing, that sort of thing. I'm glad my suggestions have been useful, and if you want to see my excellent suggestions, then head over to the Aitum Discord and you can have a look at the suggestions channel. I've got plenty more dust. I'm just trying to not spam you all at once. Right, well, thank you all for stopping by. I hope you learned a little bit there about where things are going with Aitum. And we've seen that the Raspberry Pi stuff works. I mean, I wonder if I can do this. Let's see if this technology works. I've got one other trick up my sleeve. Let's see now. That one. Let's try that. I should have done this fiddling about beforehand, but here we go. This is where we are. So let's choose that one there. Start that, okay. Turn that off because we don't need it. So if I now switch to this view, with a bit of luck, look at that, check it out. So this is a mobile camera view. So all of that stuff that I was fiddling with yesterday is all now neatly, I say neatly, it's unpacked on the shelves. So that's all the gubbins that I'm going to be using, and there's also a bit more down here. So that brown box is full of stuff still, but that's the majority of what I'm going to be working with. So all within arm's reach, and I've got a wireless keyboard and mouse there to plug into the Pi when I come to use it. So yeah, that's going to be the focus for the next sort of couple of weeks. And then interspersed with a little bit of Ubuntu Mate and a little bit of QuickEmu. And I think I've been thinking about the whole retro remix thing. Do I make my own retro gaming OS, or do I use something that's already out there? I'm still erring towards making my own. I don't know. I think I want to do it, but I'm not sure it's a good idea. And Dusty's going to add a backlog column just for me. Right, in which case I'll start spamming the suggestions category on the Discord. Right, but for now I'm going to say cheerio, because this is just about burned up what's left of my lunch break, and I need to get some work done. So I'm going to go and do that, and I hope tomorrow morning I will be streaming from here and doing the first steps in preparing the Ubuntu Mate images of Ubuntu Mate 2110 for the Raspberry Pi 4. So we'll have a bash at that tomorrow morning, and then on Thursday, depending on how it goes tomorrow, we'll have a go at doing the images for the Raspberry Pi 3, maybe. So my plan is to try and bang those images out, or at least beta versions of those images, by the end of this week, and I'll be doing that work over the rest of this week. And if that all goes well, then hopefully I can get to play with some of that other Raspberry Pi stuff next week, and we can start making some games consoles. Right then, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all very much for coming. Should we go and try and raid somebody? That's probably a good idea, isn't it? I need to get better organised at this. So let's see. Is there anyone streaming who Oh yeah, okay. We've been there recently. If we don't see anyone interesting streaming very quickly here, we'll go over to the other channel that I can see is still on the go. Gosh, there's lots of not English language streams at the moment. Oh, there's my fat face. Oh, here we go. This sounds interesting. Let's head over here, because this is like the sort of thing that I do for
thank you for the follow,
the day job.
33.
So let's do this. Thanks very much for the follow. I appreciate that, and welcome to the stream. So let's hop on over here. Right then. So in just a moment we're going to head over to Francisco Cooley. I hope it's in English. The title's in English, but we never know. So that's where we're going to go. We're going to learn about speed running, making Docker containers. So thanks for coming. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.